Minglawa, welcome to MITV exclusive interview with the Mongolian President. His Excellency Mongolian President Ц.Элбэгдорж is the first leader visiting the Republic of the Union of Myanmar for the second time after the first time in 2013 after the diplomatic ties established in 1956. MITV has a chance to meet with the President and shared his Mongolian experience to democracy reform and a transition to a market economy. Minglawa, welcome to the Golden Land, Mr. President.
Minglawa.
Yes, you have been visiting Myanmar. It's your second time as a working visit. So for our audience, we would like to know about your childhood background. So please tell us about your childhood life.
You know, I was born and raised in a herdsman family. In Mongolia, more than 40% of our population are still herdsmen. And they are the nomadic people. And my background is nomadic. And my grandfather, grandmother, my father, mother, they all were the herdsmen. And I'm the one of the 8 sons of my family. I'm the youngest son, big family. My mother and father have 8 boys. And that's it, and very modest kind of family, and we had that nice life and all together.
So becoming the president, you're here at the second visit. We also learned the workshop on sustainable sound management of natural resources, and at the workshop we have learned that surveys on economic and democratic development, and it's surprising to learn that countries with or limited resources have better economic growth compared with countries with abundant natural resources. So what is your opinion as Mongolia's experience for good governance and also the responsible investment?
Before coming to that, I would like to also continue my talk on my family background. You know, when if there was no change in Mongolia, if there was no democratic change, I would be there just ordinary person. Thanks to that change, thanks to our freedom, thanks to the free of choice of people, I became the president of my country, and I'm really thankful for my people trusting in me that great service, and I'm really happy to serve my nation. And even I'm herdsman boy, even during communist time there was no chance to go to that kind of position. And I think our choice for democracy was people's choice. When you come up to the mining issue, governance issue, I think it's also related. Mining issue, not only the money issue in Mongolia, mining issue also related with the governance issue. People think that if there is less natural resources, countries tend to be successful. I usually say that that's wrong. Also, countries with the abundant natural resources can be successful. There is one common trend. What kind of countries are successful? Those countries who has an open development, open policy. I mean the democratic policy. Those countries monitored by their people. Those governments really serving for the interest of the people. Those countries becoming successful. For example, Norway in Europe. That's very rich country, but very clean government, very successful society. Canada, big abundant natural resources, but that's democratic country. Australia, also same thing. And because of that, if you have open system, if you have open discussion on your challenges, your countries tend to be successful. And because of that, I think even though we have challenges, we will address those challenges together. We never hide our shadow from the people. People look on good things, also bad things, with the same eye.
So relating Mongolia's economy, we have learned success stories about one-stop services and also the the local development funds. So could you elaborate about these stories?
Yeah, before coming to that on mining issue, one thing. I think in order to develop your mine successfully, joining to the international initiatives is really important. When the governing the mining resources is when it comes challenge, we join to the extractive industrial transparency initiative, and Mongolia is one of the successful countries. If you join to that, those companies who invest in Mongolia, they tend to be open. They are required to be open. What kind of investment they made in Mongolia, what kind of profit they are getting, how much they have to pay taxes, how much they have to pay royalty, and all those things should be clean, and everyone should have access. And that is one thing. Other thing, I think saving some excess profit from mining to the different special fund is, I think, wise idea. During our big economic growth, we had a lot of money, and we spent it money for the social purposes. When there was the drop of price, we had a really big trouble. And because of that, we thought, okay, let's separate that excess profit to the special fund. And now we created in Mongolia Future Heritage Fund of Mongolia. I think if you are a good leader, you will leave behind you savings to your people. If you are not good leader, you will leave the debt, financial burden. But in order to have that system in Mongolia, we had an open discussion. For 3 years, there was debate what kind of system we should have. In order to develop that law, it took 2 years. Now we got a law from our parliament. In order to implement that law, bring that law in full capacity, it will take 10 years. But consistency, leadership, political will to exercise that duty well is very important. When you come up to the glass account law, one stop state service issues. I usually say that sometimes Westerners come to their countries and they talk value, democracy, rule of law. Those are just words. How are you going to make it in action? How are you going to run it in real life? Every country has differences. But I say no one size fits to all. It's not democracy. Every country have a different reality, different challenges, but there are some common trend. Common trend means you have to serve for your people. You have to fight corruption. You have to try to be responsible for your actions, or you try to encourage the people's participation. And through that, actually, we are trying to do that. If after 4 years service, after 8 years service, some people say that, oh, that was the success of the Ц.Элбэгдорж. It's not good leader. That was the success of Mongolia, if people talk that. That's the good leadership. I think if you make together one step forward with your nation, that's the success I regard. In order to make that success, you have to, people have to get involved in activity. When people come together, they usually see problem together. Not myself as a president, I know what kind of problem, how to address. I think I have answer. But when you go to the people, there is sometimes different reality. When people know all together, they usually become the part of the solution. And when we have a decision or loss, when people are all know, all participated, those people tend to implement those laws very well, because they know they wanted that law. Not only officials. Only officials wanted that law means people don't like to implement those laws in my country. Because of that, citizen hall system was really important. When I elected to the president, there was big room for my office to sit, big chair. And I said, we have to change it. We have to make this room citizen hall. I will go to the smaller room. This big room I will use for the citizens. And free access to our government house. Citizens should come. If I make any decree or propose any law, we have to discuss those things with those people whose interest in there. There is famous saying that if you would like to talk about me, please let me participate there. Please let me to say there. When people come, people participate. I think those decisions are, longevity of that decision are usually guaranteed. Those are the one of the many things. I just introduced I just gave the report on 7 years of service in my country as president. I listed 101 jobs, 101 items, which actually had in terms of the people's opinion, had a good result. 101. And everyone, I think I need to translate it. If I give it to the people, it might be very interesting.
Your globalization to localization for trust building with the government and people. So I also want to go back to our Myanmar and Mongolia have a similar geopolitical and also historical structures, similarity. So we want to know your experience. Mongolia's reach to democracy without bloodshed. So what is your thought for the
I think why
governance and also the...
Actually, Mongolia was under very brutal system, communist system. Mongolia was the satellite country of the Soviet Union, second communist country for 70 years under dictatorship. Many people know the North Korean system. Mongolia had a similar political system like in North Korea. And changing that system between those two giant countries, that was quite challenge for us. But why Mongolians were successful? I think we didn't use any violence against those who were in power. We gave them chance. We said, we are not going to persecute you. Let's live together. Your party will compete in elections and my party will compete in elections. I will compete in elections and you are open compete for elections. We did not corner them, because of that we just sat together. This is our country. We have one destiny, one goal, one country, one nation. Let's talk about those things. And through negotiations, actually, our changes happened. Because of that, there was no bloodshed. There was no single glass actually shattered in Mongolia.
So the reasons for smooth
the main reason was the involvement of the people, bringing those people who want to say something. That I think if you make very quick decision, implementation is hard. If you make through very hard work, that process is open, transparent, hard, decision usually becomes more good.
And also, in your statement, you mentioned democracy and freedom are never complete. They have to be taken care of every day. So please elaborate about your statement.
I think democracy is not decoration. Democracy is just direction. I usually say democracy is not something to fit to every country. Democracy is just open platform. Democracy is just open campaign. How to run our society successfully. That's it. Let's talk how to run our society successfully. We need this ministry, or we need this state function, or we need this one, or we don't need. Let's talk those things. That's just open platform. But I usually say that usually democracy and freedom, if they fail, there is no fatality, usually. One beauty of democracy, if you make mistake, you learn. In another system, you will be punished maybe. And because of that, democracy is learning system. Even in an advanced democracy, even in a rich country, you see, in a rich countries there is election. They are talking about many problems, and they are saying that, oh, we are losing our country, this president is bad, this guy is bad, we need to change, we need to remake this country great again. You know, you hear those things. And I usually say that we will have this kind of problem for 100 years. But let's address it in an open way. Let's address it together. Only our advantage is addressing it together, addressing it timely. I usually say that problems will have every year, every time, in every generation will face different set of problems. But our generation's duty, we have to contribute to solve that problem. If we contribute that, that's we done our job. Next generation will have next set of problems.
Mr. President, it's my just curiosity about the State Councillor Aung San Suu Kyi. Then she's chairperson of Committee for Rule of Law and Tranquility of Lower House Pidu Ludo. She visited Mongolia in 2013 before the exchange visits of high level. So I want to know your friendship, how your friendship has built up.
Mongolia was a very closed country before 1990, and first our democratic demonstration in a street that happened in December 10th, 1989, means 27 years ago. I think you had elections in 1990, and in Mongolia we had in July 1990 we had elections. And my party and our democratic movement won 40%. Communists won 60%. We didn't won. We had a 40%. Even we were defeated. One thing is really difficult to imagine. We were very happy. People are really surprised. You guys defeated and you are happy. Of course we are happy. And our people choose their destiny. Before 1990, every big political decisions in Kremlin, in Moscow, in Russia, in Soviet Union, Mongolia didn't have that political right. Now we have political right, how to govern my country. Now we have that political sovereignty. That was the happiest moment in my life. We were young people, even in the election, defeated. We were very happy people. And through that process, I was one of the drafters of the Constitution. In 27 years, I became the first member of parliament. When I was 35 years old, I became the prime minister of Mongolia. I'm the youngest prime minister in my history. That was thanks to our people's support, and that those things happened. And young people, we usually make mistakes. When we had those things, those changes, we also learned there is worldwide happening that movement in Eastern Europe. Those communist countries, Berlin Wall, you know, fall of Berlin Wall. And in Myanmar, there is country also for the democracy. And I heard they having also elections. But after that, there was silence. What happened? What happened? There was disruption. Something happened. And since then, I really interested in your process, in your political process. And when I was prime minister, I wrote many letters. I spent many sleepless nights writing letters to the Kofi Annan and others, free Aung San Suu Kyi, and let recognize this democratic reform in Myanmar. I wrote with the George Bush, Bill Clinton. We co-signed many letters, even to your leader who was here in Tan Shui, General, and we wrote to him, and we tried to support the democratic process in Myanmar. That's not the 1 year process for me, that's 20 years. And when I was in Europe in a same meeting, high-level meeting, there was your foreign minister, and I am asking, you know, in 1990, our two countries had elections. And I was 4 times elected to the parliament, 2 times served with prime minister. Now I'm president. Why Lady Aung San Suu Kyi is still in jail? why it's happening? And I asked very tough questions from those people, and that kind of connection always was there. And the first encounter was in New York. When I was in New York in the United Nations General Assembly meeting, I was president, and Lady Aung San Suu Kyi was there, and I saw her first. Wow. And our first handshake was in New York, and she instantly recognized me. Ah, you are the President Ц.Элбэгдорж, you are Ц.Элбэгдорж. Yeah, I am. And I invited her, come to Mongolia, please come to Mongolia, what we did. And we just to show, you know, there are many lessons to learn or many experiences to share. That was like a kind of human attachment job. We have a same purpose, you know, to make this country better country, better place to live, to improve our people's well-being, to make our countries prosperous. It's our just common purpose. I usually say democracy, market economy is not our purpose. Our ultimate purpose is every Mongolian should become owners of their destiny. That's our ultimate purpose.
Thank you, Mr. President. Welcome back to MRTV exclusive interview with the Mongolian President. Mr. President, being a media-friendly president, we want to know your thought for social media, how we are going to use social media, because globally we are experiencing both positive and negative impact. And also, we also want to know Mongolia's media development.
Actually, my major is journalist, and my first salary was working in a newspaper as journalist. I was a reporter in newspaper. In late of 1989, I involved in democratic process, and I actually kicked out from my journalist career. That was the state-owned career. But when we had our transition, actually my party won after 6 years in 1996 elections. First law we brought to the parliament that was related with the media. During our time, even there was democracy after 1990, those party who were in power, they used media for their purpose, for their political purpose. That was not good. And when we came into the power first time, when we got majority in parliament, we changed that law. We brought law called let's make our state TV radio public state TV radio. And we introduced law on public state TV radio. And we made a different board. And from board, there will be executive chairman or executive director of that media. And that was really good. Also, we put ban. No state entity should have any media entity in their disposal. No state, no ministry, no political party. We prohibited it. If you would like to tell your story, your news to your people, go to that public media, to private media, you know, to the places, pay your money like others, like businesses do. And media service is a different entity. We call it, there are 3 branches of the power: judicial branch, executive, and parliament. And we call media 4th branch of the power. If this is 4th branch, it should be independent. It should serve in the best of their country's interest. And because of that, no censorship on media in Mongolia. And because of my major, because of my value, I have unshakable commitment, stand. If there is someone trying to persecute journalists, I every time try to look if there is some criminal code, some sentences there, we take away it. In Mongolia, there is no practice persecuting journalists. If you persecute journalists, you will discourage your people. People will lose their bravery to say truth. If there is no truth in your country, you cannot live by real life. You won't feel the real challenges, and have to give that voice to your people. When it comes to social media, it's really different. And unfortunately, in Mongolia, we have cases. People are political parties using social media as political tool. They hide their faces. They have their account, Twitter account, on different name, Facebook account on different name, attacking people very badly. I think on this issue, maybe there should be some regulation. But even in Mongolia, I protect social media. I'm the big fan of using the Facebook. I have the biggest more than 500,000 likes on my Facebook. I have 240 followers on Twitter. I make updates on my Twitter, Facebook myself. Now my secretary, I do it. I have direct connection with my people. When I go to the township meeting, there is now a tool. You can broadcast through your Facebook your meeting, and my meetings are broadcasted to the people, and they have live stream there, and I use it. I see it disadvantage. Oh, no, advantage. This is good. But some people say disadvantage. I think there needs to be a regulation. For example, hate speech. Now in European Union, in United Nations, people are talking about how to stop this hate speech. Hate speech should be prohibited. There should be some regulation, tough regulation. I agree with that. But Mongolia will not go first country to have that regulation. We will see how European Union will handle, how those open countries will handle. We will see. But I'm open for those social media and media people. I'm in protection of the media people. Don't discourage them. It's harmful for your country.
So I would also like to know about the anti-corruption. So Mongolia's progress to fight anti-corruption, what is now progress?
Yeah. Corruption issue in Mongolia is not just governance issue. I say it's self-defense issue. If you would like to defend your democracy, you have to fight corruption. In most cases, newly democratic country failed. There are many countries failed before entering to the democracy, full democracy. There are many countries, 70% of the main reason is corruption. Main reason is bad governance. I usually say that enemies not coming from outside for democracy, enemies from inside. Enemies for democracy is the corrupted officials, corrupted behaviors, unaccountable, officials. Those are the bad. And because of that, you have to fight corruption and you have to make clean. I'm herdsman boy, and because of that modest life. And I tell you one story related. When I entered to the democracy, my oldest brother was the Communist Party member. And I afraid of my oldest brother a lot. You imagine that the mother having the 8 boys, and youngest boy, little bit spoiled boy. And usually my mother say, Ц.Элбэгдорж, you did this wrong. I will tell your brother. He will punish you. And because of that, I always afraid of my brother. If my brother says something, that's like law. And when I entered to the democratic movement, I afraid my oldest brother. He's communist, and he will say, don't do this. Well, what you are doing, you are making trouble for my country. Actually, he came to the meeting first time when there was township meeting. I gave 2 hours speech answering to the question and very tough issues. It was in the beginning of 1990. My brother is sitting there and listening to me 2 hours. After that, when there was the end of that meeting, my brother approached me and I a little bit afraid, and he said, "Fine, my brother. You continue your job. You fight for freedom. You fight for democracy. You fight for justice." That was interesting. And since that day, fighting for justice was my job. I usually say, fighting for corruption, it's not my program. It's not election promise for me. It's my character. It's my life. And you have to do it. And you have to clean every day your society through fighting corruption. When I became president, Mongolian rank corruption index. They rank. There is an international organization called Transparency International. They ranked Mongolia 120. Now Mongolia 72. Within 5 years, we advanced at 48 countries. We did many things in order to improve our governance system. We created anti-corruption agency, you know, the media, openness of the media, glass account law, conflict interest law, income declaration. You have to do those things consistently. Usually power corrupts.
So we have learned that you have sleepless nights relating the Myanmar's democracy movement. And so being president, what is your impression on Myanmar's democracy reform?
I really like when people make that choice, when people live by their choice. In Mongolia we say, however sweet it is, don't live under others' choice. However bitter it is, live by your choice. Even it's hard, it's better to live by your choice. Living in freedom one day is better than living under submission for 1,000 days. That's our philosophy. And I think every country, every nation always strive for freedom. One day, even I was in North Korea, I gave the speech there, and my speech was titled, "No Dictatorship Lasts Forever," in Kim Jong-il University. And that's my passion. And I really don't imagine my country's development, my people's development, well-being, without freedom, without exercising that. But in order to exercise that freedom, you have to be accountable for your action. You have to work very hard. Every citizen, everyone should work very hard. Through hardship, those results usually come to you. And democracy means believing in yourself. And I say democracy means combination of the right and accountability. If there is no accountability, democracy becomes just a name tag, just a label. If there is no accountability, there is no law on accountability, those government became just home for the criminals and corrupt. I'm quite strong on this issue. Even I criticize this guy is really tough. You have to be tough. I usually say for politicians, ordinary students gave the exam. For politicians, exam is fight corruption. That's the test. If you fight corruption, if you have a strong stand on your party member, if you have a strong stand on the close associates of you, if they commit crime, if they misuse of the power, if they misuse the public money, you have to be tough. Law should apply to everyone equally. Even to your brother, even to your mother, even to your sister or to your party member, law should apply equally. In Mongolia, face of law, we call it iron. Face of law, there is no human face. That should look the same. If you exercise it every day, your country will be a little bit away from trouble. I will tell you, in your country, there will be, in an open system, there will be many misuses of power. You will hear many big scandals. In Mongolia, we have that. You will see national resource nationalism. You will see environmental problems. You will see partisanship fight in politics. You will experience everything. But it's better experiencing those things daily than those hiding. I think I usually say that river is clean because they are moving. Pond or lake, if there is no movement, it becomes dirty. it becomes lifeless. And because of that, freedom is better, because it's every day there is something happening. But freedom, when you give opportunity, every street corner became the opportunity. Every family became the opportunity. In Mongolia, in Mongolia we have big ambition. Every young man, they want to become big business. They want to become, to fulfill their dream. They want to become, they see that one of the ordinary guys can become the member of parliament or a president. I think that kind of dream, that kind of opportunity should be open to everyone. If that's open, society becomes more vibrant. It's interesting. In a society there is bad things happening, good things happening. But in an open society, more good things usually happen. And the open society is corrects by itself. Healing system internally, openness, transparency, fighting corruption, those the healing system, internal healing system of your society. If you plant those system in your society, your people will be successful.
So we have learned also in your capital city, 7th Asia-Europe meeting. ISAM will be held. So regarding the meeting, what will be the topic, focus topics will be?
We have 5 continents, and but Europe and Asia, every 2 years, we have a same meeting. Our 2 continent leaders come together. And this year, this time in Mongolia, in Ulaanbaatar, this was a really great recognition of our foreign policy. And more than 53 heads of state and government will come to Ulaanbaatar from Europe, from Asia. And this is also 20 years of ASEM. ASEM was established in 1996, now 20 years of ASEM. There will be new declaration, new policy, how to handle our Asia and Europe, how to handle their common problem. There are many common problems, and how we see next 10 years for the future, for the world. And we will discuss those issues. And I invited the president, also I will give an invitation to the state councillor, and I'm asking them to go there. That's great place to have bilateral meetings and to discuss those emerging issues. And I hope from Myanmar, your country will participate at the highest level, and there will be more opportunities to see my country, and we see that's also opportunity to show our experiences to these 2 great continents. And it will happen in July. Many friends in Myanmar, they think that Mongolia is far, Mongolia is cold country, but Mongolia is not cold country. We have just 4 sharp seasons. Every season lasts 3 months. Cold winter, nice spring, and very nice autumn, and very nice. Now we have 20 plus, very warm. When Myanmar delegation come to Mongolia, they feel like at home. But in Mongolia we don't have monsoon. In Mongolia, if there is 3-day rain, we think that that's the God's gift. Most rain lasts 1 day, 3 days, 1 hour. But in your country, continuous. 5 months. Yeah.
Okay. My last question is about the coming elections in Mongolia. What is your expectation?
Yeah, we have parliamentary elections. We have local elections. I think it's the same as elections since 1990. It will be through law. It will be everything fair. In election system in Mongolia, we have one good thing. We have bio-registration system. Every citizen have a bio-registration, biometric registration. In election system, we no longer use the wooden box. We don't use the papers. We use the scanning machine. And all those things connected to the internet. And election day is June 29, 22 p.m. There will be election result. Just when there is 10 p.m. there will be instant election result. No fighting, no things, because of the technology. In Mongolia, we have one of the advanced election system in Asia. I think that's handling that election prudently and without fraud. That's really important. If you give your vote to your people, that should be counted. That should be counted rightly. If there is some misuse of count, that's not good. I think also we handled with this election very well. We had bad elections also in Mongolia.
So thank you very much, Mr. President. MITV is greatly honored for your precious time and also in-depth discussion. So we really appreciate it.
Thank you very much, and I'm really glad to meet you and your television people and your viewers. And I would like to say best wishes to you for the Myanmar people and prosperity of this nation. And we are really looking forward to working with you. And Jesu Dimbade.
Thank you. Jesu Dimbade.